Brodes Media.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's a football Friday. I swear to God, I watched the Eagles hype video with Brian Dawkins. It released around 5 p.m. today. Oh, my God. My body was feeling things. You know what I mean? Dude. Wow. I need it to be Sunday. You know why? This team was built for this moment. Howie Roseman went out and acquired Saquon Barkley for nothing short of winning a fucking Super Bowl. You bring back CJ for nothing short of winning a fucking Super Bowl. You draft Jalen Carter to be an absolute game wrecker and destroy the other team's offensive line to help you win a fucking Super Bowl. They have been preparing for this all year long, all offseason long, all training camp long. It's not Washington's time. Fun story, cute little run. It's not their time. I actually have 4 reasons why I feel very, very confident in this matchup, and I will give you those reasons throughout the show here. But I do really want to highlight and stress that the message, the leadership, the way that they have approached every single day, every single practice, every single week, every single game day, it was for this. One more game to get to the dance. I think this group is so wired the right way that they're aware of this as well, and they won't let this slip. Lane Johnson, come on, man, he's on his back 9. Still playing great ball over there, protecting the quarterback's right side. But these opportunities don't come around every single year. You got to maximize the moment. And this roster and this team and this organization is built to get it done now. And when they are playing in front of their home crowd, there's a reason why hosting the NFC Championship game and the history of hosting the NFC Championship game screams you have a huge chance of getting the win because it is a game changer. Look through the history. 2023, San Francisco 49ers at home beat the Detroit Lions. 2022, Philadelphia destroyed the San Francisco 49ers at the Link. 2021, the Los Angeles Rams went on to win the Super Bowl, and they won the NFC Championship game at LoFi Stadium. Here's the outlier. It takes a Tom Brady and a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. So the best quarterback to ever live on this planet is the guy that goes on the road to beat the team that was hosting the NFC Championship game that year. Now, let's continue. 2019, 49ers at home. 2017, Philly at home. 2016, Atlanta at home. 2015, Carolina at home. 2014, Seattle at home. 2013, Seattle at home. Playing this game in your own territory is massive. And when you have idiots, and I mean the dumbest people on planet Earth, going to the Rocky statue again to plant their wardrobe, okay? To go plant first off, you have a new damn team name every single year. Nobody even knows what the hell to call you, but they feel obligated to take their little jerseys and throw them on Rocky as if the 49ers didn't learn their lesson, as if Minnesota with skull didn't learn their lesson either. I mean, you're dumb. As if their defensive coordinator is also playing into the stupidity. You know what that screams? Being irresponsible. You know what that says to me? You're not ready yet. Winning coaches, winning staffs, nah, There's no real benefit of saying what he said publicly. And I heard some takes from different analysts, from former players. It was a bit head-scratching. What do you accomplish other than firing up the birds? Because you're not changing the Eagles' game plan. You're not scaring them off. All you're doing is adding fuel to the fire of the Eagles, who are going after this with some revenge. So they're already going to have piss and vinegar because they are upset with how the last game transpired, even though with a backup quarterback 11 plays into the game, they still should have won. Poor Devontae, man. I know he lost sleep over that. Not only do we have that loss that stings, but now you factor in a very immature defensive coordinator just vomits out his mouth in a presser, and now that's only going to tick people off more. Inside that NovaCare complex, they saw it. They heard it. And you know what? For as outrageous as Nick Sirianni is, he handled it perfectly when asked about it. Same with Jalen. Now, Jalen's not outrageous. He just goes, dude, I care about winning football games, baby. You know what I mean? So Jalen only has one mode as it is. But the reason why I have so much belief in this team is because of the way Jalen leads, the way that Jalen is determined, and the way that Jalen is going to put this football team in a position to win again, because it's all he does. So one of my big supporting arguments for a monster W is the history of the NFC Championship game and what it means and the power it holds to play on your own turf. A lot of the numbers tell you the advantage, it's huge. It's going to be a hostile environment for Jaden Daniels, for Zach Ertz. Sorry, dude. You're going to be watching us in a couple of weeks either play, the Buffalo Bills or another shot at Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes. It's just what it is. What's he going to do? Score a late touchdown that's irrelevant? Is that what's going to happen? Because that's about it that I can see from him. This run game is so sensational. This run game is going to absolutely crush anything that the Commanders try and do with their defense. They just don't have the answers. There's nothing that personnel group can do to stop him. No matter what they try, they don't have the talent to do it, which is going to make it a field day for 26. We'll talk more about this, but first, playoffs. We're talking about playoffs, you bet we are. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Are you ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple, like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. Anytime touchdown Jalen, anytime touchdown Saquon Barkley, birds to cover the spread. That's where I'm putting my money, baby. Join me. Lines and odds are subject to change. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Brodes. That's code Brodes for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Remember how I started the show off by saying the reason Saquon is here, the reason GJ is here is because Howie Roseman was on the prowl and he has so much hunger to do more, and he felt that Lombardi trophy slip away from his hands after they had a double-digit lead at half against the Chiefs just a couple years ago, and there was no way he was going to get denied of building another roster that's sensational, that has a real shot at doing it again. Well, it's not just players, but bringing in Vic Fangio was just as important as bringing in a Saquon, as bringing in a Jalen Carter. He did the same thing with a coordinator as well. I don't know what to really say about Kellen Moore. I don't think he's stunk by any means, but obviously the offense has been so heavy in the run game because you have someone who is generational, and I don't even know if generational tells the full story of the Saquon Barkley experience. It's even more than that. So it does throw a weird wrench into the mix. But obviously, my point is, you saw what the coordinators were last season. So what Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie decided to do after realizing, we are going to bring Nick back, but we are going to surround him with guys that have good structure on both sides of the football, that have a really good idea of what they like and what we can do, and looking at our personnel and really making it the best that it can be, instead of Sean Desai or a very immature, or not immature, I think that's unfair to say about Brian Johnson, because last year, I don't care. I don't even want to go down the road. But immature, inexperienced was the word I was looking for Brian Johnson. Get rid of this Desai, Matt Patricia nonsense. They went after the jugular. Even with the coordinators, this was the goal in mind. And this was what it was all about. And now that you are here, you think this leadership group, and you feel that this locker room is somehow going to fold, that when the pressure gets big and the moment is finally here, they're just going to crack and give us a nothing burger, or they're going to fail to a team that they are better than. I mean, that's just the truth. It's the truth. They are better than the Washington Commanders. It's not even really debatable. So take care of your business. The only way that this thing gets ugly, which I don't expect it to, is if they flat out don't show up. If they urinate all over themselves. But I don't know why I would believe that would happen, considering they won, 14 out of their last 15 games? They beat a Rams team that everyone said, watch out for Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay. They got the better quarterback. They got the better head coach. Because I hear that all week long. All week long I heard that. They got the better quarterback, that Commanders team. So we're splitting hairs here. I like Jaden Daniels in the year he's having. I like this football team way more than anything the Commanders can throw our way. I'm really looking forward to this. I love this matchup more than I loved it against Green Bay. I love this matchup more than I liked it in the divisional round. This might be my favorite playoff matchup in regards to who the Eagles are looking at eye to eye. They just have the firepower to win in the trenches on both sides, which is a huge way to win football games. And then they have a back that's unstoppable. So let me lay out for you a couple of things said by Bill Belichick, by Ray Didinger, and Emmanuel Acho. First, though, the practice report, Dallas Goedert is good to go, which is very, very important. And Cam Jurgens is listed as questionable, but he was out there for Friday's practice. It does seem it is trending in the direction of him going, and they do have a good backup plan. If there is something that happens during the game and they do need to go to plan B, I like their plan B. And I have confidence in their plan B. If Landon Dickerson gets slid over and has to start being the one to snap the football to Jalen and Tyler Steen plays guard, I'm okay with that. I still think you can beat the Washington Commanders with that. I think you can win a lot of football games like that. And I think you can still dominate in the trenches with that. So I'm cool with it if you need to go that route. Obviously, I prefer the one who has been snapping the ball to Jalen and the communication to be as intact as it possibly can with Cam Jurgens there and available. But if you need to go to your backup idea, I think they have a very strong backup idea. I would imagine it is trending in the right direction for him to be out there, and obviously we will monitor it. All right, so Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick was on with Pat McAfee. And he said the goal for Washington is to stop Saquon Barkley and force Jalen Hurts to beat you. Okay, not the first time we've heard that style of philosophy just in theory. Very hard to execute that, but we've heard that forever, right? And then Pat McAfee goes sarcastically, just stack the box, coach, right? Just stack the box. And here's what the smartest coach in NFL history, by the way, on the defensive side of the football too, laid out. Yeah, he beats those two. And when he splits the defenders after you stack the box, you're toast. So how you need to approach this is get layers and have layers with your defense. So if he does happen to break the first layer, there is someone in the secondary. There's a safety that can help out. So let me get this straight. You can't even suffocate the line of scrimmage because once you break free, it's an automatic explosive play and most likely a 65, 70-yarder to the house. So what you need to then do is space out your defense so there's multiple different layers, meaning there's less traffic in the box, meaning you can't suffocate the line of scrimmage as much as you would like because he breaks through those two. So imagine there being more space for him to operate once he gets through the offensive line and once he has great angles and once our big men start to get into the second level. See what I'm saying here? It's essentially impossible to stop him. Because if you want to push everybody forward towards your defensive front, if you're Washington, you are going to get exposed. And if you try and separate the defense so it's not all or nothing by the line of scrimmage, then it's going to be a field day of Saquon getting 15, 18, 20, and then eventually, inevitably, he'll go off for a 65-yard touchdown to the house again where he's all cracked out, smacking his head. Not cracked out. What do they say? Crashing out? He's crashing out, smacking his head. He was so excited and had so much adrenaline, and he didn't even know what to do with his hands. That full speed in a playoff game in the snow at home with that crowd buzzing. This man was essentially punching himself in the face as he was going to score 6. Let that settle in. You're not stopping him. If there's one thing you grab from this show tonight, you are not stopping him. All right, now here's what Ray Didinger had to say. If you go 12 personnel, Washington is going to be in nickel 100% of the time. Essentially, based off of what Ray Didinger has seen. How do you think Saquon's going to go to work against that? See what I'm saying here? How do you think Saquon Barkley will go to work then? Now, they don't have to go nickel. But if you try and run the football based out of your 12 personnel set, now you're asking the Commanders to do something that they're not comfortable doing, that they haven't done. And now with your season on the line, you got to get really out of your comfort zone by utilizing different packages when you see 2 tight ends. Let's see how that chess game goes. I'm telling you, Saquon, what do you think? 175 plus? I wouldn't be surprised if he gets over 200. But 175 plus, I think, is a given. Now, let's listen to Emmanuel Acho. Here's Emmanuel Acho on the facility talking about why the Eagles are going to win this football game. Take a listen.
To win the game because the Eagles do not make the fundamental mistakes that the Commanders have capitalized against previously teams. Mm-hmm. The Washington Commanders feasted on the Detroit Lions' ignorance defensively. Let's just roll some tape. I don't even care which tape y'all roll. Oh. I'm just going to talk about it. Austin Eckler, tackle this man. Go ahead and pause it right here. Get that man down. That's an 8-yard gain. Let it run. Instead, it turns from an 8-yard gain into a 24-yard gain. Tackle him. It took his own teammate to tackle him. Get to the scary Terry play. I'm going to tell y'all when to pause it. Get to the next play. Right here, watch this right here. Pause it. Turn him inside to Kerry Joseph, number 31, to Kirby Joseph, number 31, and that play is a 6-yard gain. Instead, it is a 62-yard gain. Let it play. The Philadelphia Eagles do not make those mistakes. Those are fundamental mistakes. Those are, you start every period in practice with individual drill. And when you start with individual drill, what defensive backs will do is, hey, when they throw the bubble screen, turn the receiver back inside so that the receiver who catches the ball has to run towards the cavalry. The cavalry, as we refer to in football, is all the other 11 players. The Eagles do not make the mistakes that the Lions made or the Bucs made. And I'll put it very simple for those that don't understand film as much with numbers. Last game against the Commanders versus the Lions, there were 188 yards after contact. 63% of the Commanders' yards was yak. Eagles don't play that yak. Eagles don't do that. Eagles allowed 95 per game this season, 47%. The Eagles don't make the fundamental mistakes that the Lions make. That's why the Eagles win.
Yeah, listen, I mean, a lot of that has to go down to the Lions having a ton of injuries. But that has been part of my claim since we started Eagles-Commanders week. We do not have the same amount of problems and the same amount of banged up, injured guys in our secondary or on our defense in general, the way that the Lions were playing extremely banged up. Also, Jalen Hurts does not turn the football over at the clip that the Lions did in that divisional round either. So, when you see a squad have a 6-yard gain turn into a 65-yard gain or a potential 8-yard gain go for 34, when do you see Vic Fangio's defense getting carved up to that level consistently? Now, here and there, if there's X amount of snaps in a game, maybe one, right? Like that's the game. And there's going to be one that happens for us as well, where AJ gets the ball. It could be a 5-yard pickup. It turns into a 22-yard pickup. Like one time is just the natural flow. It's a game of runs, if you will, in basketball. The other team is going to go on a 12-2 run. That doesn't mean that they're going to win the basketball game. They can still lose and still get dominated throughout the 4 quarters. So what Vic Fangio has drilled into this team and Nick Sirianni, it's all about fundamentals. It's all about the details. That's been Nick Sirianni's motto since he's gotten here. And you know what? He was asked earlier today, Friday, during his media availability about maybe what he has learned in the past about these big moments, about being in the NFC championship game. And, you know, there's more media attention. There's more scrutiny. There's more talking heads talking about you. And just in general, I really loved the way that he approached this. And he said something earlier in the week as well, which is, you know, you don't really change much. What you do since you get into this NovaCare complex when the season begins is prepare you for this moment. You do what you're supposed to do every single day. So when you are in this position, you know what to do. It's just natural. It's normal because you've been doing it and applying it every day since day one. And Tom Brady said something pretty similar as well. His practice reps, this dude had his practice reps in his mind be the Super Bowl. So when you're in the Super Bowl, it's the same as being at practice, which is very hard to duplicate that. It's very hard to actually make that happen. But Tom's a special guy. And Nick Sirianni has a very interesting, similar yet different, but similar style to his coaching. You are going to see this team be detailed. You are going to see this team focus on the fundamentals. You are going to see this team do the right things and stop an 8-yard gain at an 8-yard gain. Stop a 4-yard gain at a 4-yard gain. You are not going to watch them get obliterated and now a 62 field flip occurs because of colossal mistakes. That's the difference. And I couldn't agree more with that breakdown from Emmanuel Acho. All right, listen, we're going to take your calls here. First, you know about my friends at HelloFresh. What are you waiting for? If you haven't joined the HelloFresh family, you're nuts. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. So skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. A crazy schedule can make it easy to fall back into your dinner time recipe rut. So keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every week, so there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. HelloFresh does all the shopping and meal planning for you, and ingredients arrive right at your doorstep, pre-portioned and ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. How easy is that? When I tell you it's the best decision my wife and I ever made, it truly is remarkable how it's right there on your doorstep. It's 5-6 simple steps. 15-20 minutes later, I got a dinner on my table that I haven't made in years, and I'm not stuck with the same chicken, broccoli, and rice or taco. No. This is something new. It's something fresh. It gets me out of that normal routine and gives me something delicious. The flavors, it's just incredible, man. Go to HelloFresh.com/50Brodes and use code 50Brodes for 50% off plus free shipping. That's code 50Brodes for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. Make sure you check out the information down below in the description. All right, to the phones we go. Let's listen to you fantastic people out there.
Hey, Brodes, Will from West Virginia. I just got done listening to your podcast where you brought up looking at this matchup from a Commanders fan's point of view. And I'm going to be watching the game with two of my best friends who themselves are unfortunately Commies fans. And, man, I'll tell you what, they are scared. They are not looking forward to playing this game. I've already had one of them tell me to go easy on them when we win this game, which is not going to happen. But, you know, that's all I got to say, man. Go Birds.
Dude, the Eagles are going to kick ass. They are. They are going to absolutely kick ass. Jalen's going to have some sort of brace on, but apparently from everybody who's been watching him practice, the teammates, not that they're ever going to say anything other than this, but he looks locked in. He looks good. He's making great throws. He looks mobile. He's very active. I cannot see a world where Jalen does not advance to another Super Bowl. Saquon Barkley, who is fantastic, and his words are very powerful to me. When he goes out there and says, man, this Jalen Hurts kid, he's got that it. He does. He's got that it. And there's something about him that is just different. Jalen will not allow for this team to lose this game. As the one that has the rock in his hands, I'm not talking he's going to go out there and ball out for 400 yards. No. He is going to do what's necessary to put this team in a phenomenal position to win. He's not going to turn the rock over. So I told you I had 4 reasons why I think this team's going to win and why I'm confident. One of those was laying out the NFC Championship past and how the home team has won so much. Revenge factor was number 2 that I brought up. I think this Eagles team is hungry and pissed off and determined based off of what those Commanders guys were saying, based off of the defensive coordinator's comments and all that stuff. So that's in there. Jalen, I have so much trust and belief in Jalen Hurts, it's not even funny. And for no particular order, of course, is Jalen Carter. There is a matchup in the interior. Jalen Carter is about to go on an Aaron Donald-like run. That's what it is. It's an Aaron Donald 2.0. And that's not even really going overboard. I'm not trying to highlight it so much that I'm exaggerating it just to sell something. No. It's the truth. And especially when the Commanders are dealing with the injury that they're dealing with on their offensive line, Jalen Carter is going to be a superstar. And even if they throw a lot of bodies his way, then he eats up so much space for others to get off. His presence is going to be so demanding, and he's going to command the attention that your defensive front is going to have like many plays made, even on Jaden Daniels, because of the attention that has to be focused on Jalen Carter. Those are my 4 reasons on why I am this comfortable, and I'll actually expand more on this. Saturday afternoon, 3 to 7 p.m., I'm hosting on WIP, and I'm really looking forward to it. If you want to join the show, of course, or just listen to the show, I greatly appreciate it. And every hour, I'm going to go into detail on why I feel so strongly about the 4 things I just laid out. Every hour will be a new sort of reason I'm confident, and I'll expand further into detail. But yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving all 4 of those things I just brought up. All right, let's go back to the phones.
Hey, how's it going, Brodes? I see people all over Twitter, Instagram, all over social media in general just freaking out over Cam Jurgens. And honestly, I don't see it as much of an issue as most people. I think that Jeff Stoutland is the best position coach of any position coach in the NFL. He's the best one. And I think that it's a next man up mentality, just like when Fred Johnson had to fill in for Lane when he went down and did an outstanding job. I think that Tyler Steens, if Cam Jurgens is out, will fill in just fine in that right guard spot. So I'm not seeing many issues there. Yes, the Commanders have a solid defensive front, but I believe in Jeff Stoutland University. I just believe in this O-line in general. Next man up. Go Birds.
I agree on the next man up. Now, Tyler Steen will be playing left guard at that point, and everything would be slid over unless I misunderstood what you were saying there. And did Fred Johnson go in for Lane, or did he go in for Jordan Mailata? How many games did Lane Johnson play this year? He played 15 games. Okay. So he played 15. And okay. I know for a fact when Jordan Mailata left, Fred Johnson. What am I? Breaking down Fred Johnson in the regular season. That's irrelevant. What matters is you are correct. If there is a world where we have to rely on Jeff Stoutland and his coaching and his ability to have the next man ready to go, I think we're in a pretty good damn position. You know, like I'd go down swinging with my life on the line with Jeff Stoutland. There's probably nobody more in this organization that I would trust more than Jeff Stoutland. There's Howie. There's Jalen's it factor. There's Saquon. There's Jalen Carter. But the length of time Jeff Stoutland has done it for, if there's one position where we may need to rely on our position coach to make sure the next guy is as prepared as a human could be to slide in and help them win a playoff game, to have a berth in the Super Bowl, it's Jeff Stoutland. There is something to be said, though, about communication and Landon Dickerson and Jalen Hurts. If anything is to happen where Cam Jurgens isn't there, I'm not acting as if there's no deal, right? I'd say no big deal. It isn't easy. I just trust the people in place. It is difficult to have to change your center, talking, communication. It's a big deal. But Jeff Stoutland's a big deal. And the success that is inevitable from anybody that we plug and play is also what we are used to seeing, and I don't see why there would be any difference here in this one. All right, let's wrap things up with Rowdy in Syracuse.
Hey, Brodes, Ryan from Syracuse. Calling for Football Friday. I've been thinking about everything that the Commanders have been saying, that the media's been saying, and I think we are going to pound the Commanders into the ground. With Jalen Carter lined up over a backup guard, he is going to be in their backfield constantly. We need to contain Daniels, and, well, depending on how their defense plays, hit him like a running back, whatever that might mean. If they decide to be a little cheapish with it. I don't think there's really a place to stoop down to that level, but this is playoff football, we will see. But I think we're going to beat them down defensively, offensively. I think by the end of the third quarter, being that they have had so many hard-fought games, I think they're in their bag. I think they are going to be drained. and the fact that they're already talking about their game plan being to potentially take out Jalen, that tells me how desperate they are.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. That tells you they don't have the answers. That tells you that they are worried about his playmaking ability because they know how rare it is, how elite it is, and how game-changing it is. And their only ability to slow him down is to do something that's outrageous and uncalled for. Could not agree more. And I know that pissed Jalen off, man. I know that did. So we have a pissed off Lane for not being first team All-Pro. We have a pissed off Saquon Barkley, okay? Because the Commanders were running their mouth the last time these two teams were on the field together. You got a pissed off Jalen for them crossing the line, being scumbags. Whoo! Dude. I can't wait. I can't wait. All right, everybody, listen. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for the fun week, as always. Really looking forward to Sunday. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button as well. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Brodes81, Brodes Media. You can find me on all the platforms. Hey, you can also take this on the road with you by searching Sports Talk with Brodes on Apple Podcast and Spotify. And if you leave a 5-star rating over there as well, it would mean the world. Last thing here, my friends over at Garage Beer, it's the best beer in the world. So if you're going to a party this weekend to watch the game and you're going to pick up some cold ones to bring to the fellas or whatever, you're hanging out with the ladies, drink garagebeer.com, 0% IPA, 100% light beer, 1,000% quality. It's the best light beer in the world. So seriously, do not be a fool. Check out Garage Beer if you haven't already. Love you guys to death, and go Birds.